Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at ntnm.org. Jewish Chicago is on the street, available everywhere. It's free. Feel free to pick it up. You can find it everywhere from just south of the Loop, all the way up Lakeshore Drive to the Jewish neighborhoods on the north side, and throughout the north and northwest suburbs. If you can find corned beef somewhere, or lox and bagels, chances are good you'll find Jewish Chicago. If you can't find it, feel free to give me a call, send me an email, or why not, just catch it on the web, ntnm.org. Putting out an extra 5,000 copies this year. We're anticipating a readership of well over 60,000, and that's not counting the web presence. And of course, people don't read it for the features because there aren't any. It's just all straight politics, and we're expanding the judicial section greatly this time around. It is a pleasure to reintroduce you to somebody I've had on before, somebody who actually was a member of the journalistic community for a number of years with WBBM and WMAQ, and presently a judge, and that's Judge Alfred Swanson. How are you?
I'm fine, Avi. Nice to be here again.
First of all, my pleasure. Thank you. He's got a really good handshake, too. So tell us about yourself. Tell us about whatever.
Well, you mentioned my broadcasting background. I worked my way in broadcasting and radio through high school and college, doing a number of things. After college, I worked in Bloomington, Illinois for a year, came up to Chicago to be a writer and reporter at WBBM, and then I was 10 years as a reporter at WMAQ. And one of the assignments I had there, and I took a semester off from law school because in the spring of 1980, NBC assigned me full-time to cover the John Gacy murder trial.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't want to confuse the education I was getting at 26th Street with the books, so I took a semester off from the books.
You know, it's interesting you said that, because I actually at one time thought I was going to be a lawyer, and I actually did cover 26th and Cal for a short period of time. And I had this vision of what it was like from the old E.G. Marshall Defender show, and it wasn't anything like that in real life, and that's what made me stay in journalism.
Nor is real life anything like Judge Judy or Judge Mathis or any of those shows, or even Law and Order.
Well, especially Law and Order, and I want to tell you, having run community policing meetings, and Sonny Hirsch, who's our entire technical crew here, is the chairman of the 24th District Advisory Committee, real big on court watch. So many people who watch, it's like, one of the cops there can spot right away. It's like, that's a Law and Order question. you know, the guy goes, well, I did this, I did that, and did the other thing. He says, well, that's good. You're going to get all the guys on Law and Order to respond, but what about us?
Yeah, but I look at those TV shows, and my wife looks at me and says, can they do that? I says, no, the other lawyer should have objected. So.
Well, even about police, and I don't want to take too much of your time, one of my favorite policemen says, the show that's most typical of what really happens to the police is Barney Miller. He says if they think there's action all the time and bang, shoot them up.
Just like MASH is for what it's really like in the military, right?
Exactly. So, okay, so you...
Let me tell you, asked about me.
Sure.
So let me tell you I grew up in Western Illinois, in the Quad Cities, where the Mississippi River runs east to west, in East Moline.
Wow.
My dad, who was really my interest in politics and in government and public service, came from my dad, who worked his entire career as a business manager, business administrator for the Illinois Department of Mental Health at the state hospitals in East Moline and in Jacksonville and in Elgin. And the Chicago Tribune, in their survey of judicial candidates, asked, tell us something we don't know about you. And that is, up until I was in high school, I grew up, we had housing quarters on the grounds of a state mental hospital.
Wow.
So I grew up and have now today, I think, a good understanding of the mentally ill and people with disabilities and empathy for them, because I grew up knowing that they're people, just like you and I are.
Yeah.
And they just happen to have an illness issue. And it was fascinating. You had to go to the Assembly Hall for the movies with them, participated with patients in stage shows. It was a fascinating childhood.
It's definitely interesting, no question about it. So I don't want to take your time. We've got 2.5 minutes, so I want you to tell us more about you. And by the way, I actually worked in a halfway house for a while, but we'll talk off the air about that.
But what is important to me are a number of things. And I don't know if we covered it last time when I was here and we talked about the job on the mortgage foreclosure call. But one of the things that I enjoy dealing with are the pro se defendants who come up. And they may be, I can see tension on their face because of the uncertainty about the process. But it's important to me, and I feel like I'm doing my job right, if in the time I can spend with them, I can ease that tension off of their face, visibly see that tension ease, by just explaining the process, that they have a way to go for options through counseling to help them. Does it keep them in their home? Maybe, maybe not, but at least their tension eases. And if I can do that and see them step away from the bench with tension eased, then I feel like I'm doing my job right that day.
That's important. I would imagine in that situation, people are definitely going to be very afraid. I mean, you're talking about their house, their life, the whole shop.
I mean, what's the American dream? You know, a house.
Yeah.
And a place to raise your family. And all of a sudden, because of circumstances beyond their control, they're faced with losing it.
Yeah, this economy is whacking everybody these days, and you've got a very important position in what you're doing.
And I enjoy it. It's busy, where it's a very busy call, but I enjoy it. I enjoy dealing with the people and some of the issues we face too.
No, very good, and definitely, I can see how you have a really easy time being able to ease people down. I used the word ease twice, but whatever. It's like you're a very easy person to talk to use it a third time. So you hit the campaign trail and all that?
I am doing that. That is a 7-day-a-week part-time job.
Yeah.
This time getting within, now it's close to the election, March 20th, it's getting to be a second full-time job.
Wow.
But of course I can't fall behind on the work that I get paid to do, and I don't. So that's important as well.
Yeah, and why don't you give us your website? And
website is electjudgeswanson.com. Is on the web, and email address is there. Contact information for my campaign staff is there on the website.
And I want to thank you very much for being here. This electjudgeswanson.com.
.com, right.
Okay, and I want to wish you good luck in the election.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Avi, enjoyed it.
Thank you. And so did I. Be well.